Hi, this is Stephen from owner GIISSMO. Well, Chris from M2 Skins kindly sent me his GPD Win 3 to look at. Now, I did have the first one, and that had an Atom processor, so I was interested to see how much better this one was. But first, a quick word from this video sponsor, GIISSMO. If you have a laptop, tablet, or even a phone that you wish had more USB expandability and more video outputs, then look no further because GIISSMO has you covered with a 9-in-1 USB docking station. And for Father's Day, they will be giving one away, and I have details and a link to it in the description below. Now in the box, you get a driver CD, an instruction booklet, a USB-C to USB-A power cable, and the docking station itself. It is made out of anodized aluminium and has 2 rubber feet underneath to stop it from sliding around on your desk. The connector that you use to attach to your device is a USB-C, but it also comes with a USB Type A adapter as well. In case you are attaching a peripheral that needs more power, you can use the included USB-C to USB-A power cable and plug it into a power brick that is at least 5 volts, 2 amps. Once you install the silicon motion drivers, you can attach up to 3 monitors. One HDMI outputting at 1080p and one up to 4K, and the VGA port at 1080p. Plus you have your laptop screen, so that means you can transform your 13-inch MacBook Air or a small Windows machine into a true multitasking powerhouse. Next to the VGA port there is a RJ45, and around the other side there are 2 USB 2 ports, useful for connecting a keyboard and a mouse. You also have 2 USB-A 3.1 Type 2 ports with a transmission rate of 10 gigabits per second. Now these are ideal for portable hard drives or a USB thumb drive. You can keep the dock on your desk and just attach the laptop when you're ready to use it. No need to keep plugging in and unplugging all of your peripherals. Now there's no SD card reader in this model, but GIISSMO also makes a 13-in-1 dock that does have one. Now if you have an Android phone or a tablet, you can also make use of the dock. Just pop over to the Google Play Store and install the Silicon Motion Instant View app. Connect the dock and the app will open up and ask if you want to connect. It is very straightforward and allows you to view your phone or tablet on an external monitor, as well as access items on a USB thumb drive that you have connected to the dock. I think the GIISSMO dock is a very useful device, and if your laptop has limited ports and limited video output options, then this little dock is a perfect accessory to either keep on your desk or pack away in your laptop bag to use when you're on the road. Now remember to check out the description below for the link to the dock and also details on the giveaway. Good luck! The GPD Win 3 on Amazon costs about $1,270 for the i7 11955G7 model and $1,210 for my model with the i7 1165G7, which is a 4-core 8-thread CPU based on Tiger Lake, and it has Intel Iris Xe graphics clocked at 1300 MHz, has 96 execution units and 1GB of VRAM. The unit comes with 16GB of RAM in dual channel and 1TB of storage, which is complemented by a micro SD card on the side. The 1280 by 720 5.5-inch display is plenty bright at 400 nits. It is glossy, but with it being a handheld device, it is easy to negate any reflections, unless if you are playing outdoors. Now my main criticism of my older GPD Win was that it was very awkward to navigate around windows using the thumbstick and trigger buttons, and this remains true here, although the touchscreen was responsive and would be my method of choice. Now the keyboard is much improved on the version 3. You slide up the screen and it is revealed. It is much larger and it is also backlit white, which is very useful. I found that the speakers were also excellent, very loud at 80 decibels, and in fact they are louder than most laptop speakers, which I find is quite amazing. And at the top you do have a USB Type A, you have a headphone jack, you have some volume controls, power button and the air vent. Now I do like how the air does vent here from the top, not around the sides or blowing towards you, which would either make your hands hot or, as you say, hot air towards you is not good. Underneath is a USB-C port from which you can power it, or you can actually use a dock which retails for $86. This also gives you an HDMI port, a USB-C, you get 3 USB Type A ports and an RJ45 port. And I must admit, if you're planning on hooking this up to a monitor and using a mouse and keyboard, then this looks like a great accessory to have. Now, I did try playing Horizon Zero Dawn, but unfortunately that did not work. So I threw on Shadow of the Tomb Raider and I used lower settings at 720p. Now in the benchmark, I scored 48 FPS, regardless of whether I was plugged into a power source or playing on battery. The CPU was holding 20 watts. But here is the kicker, and the reason why I cannot recommend the GPD Win 3. To control Lara, I had to press in the left thumbstick, and then all of a sudden, it just went through the body of the unit. All that was left was a gaping hole where it used to be, and my first thought was, oh my god, Chris is going to kill me. Now, I did do some research online, and there were reports all over the internet about this happening. So I get on the phone to Chris and I tell him what happens. And he said, it happened to him as well. And fortunately, he actually bought some, spare parts. Now, the only place I could find a thumbstick was on DHgate, and that was costing about $50 and getting shipped over from China. Now, Chris sent me one of his spare thumbsticks, and I show you the easy steps to replace it. First, you remove the back. And once inside, you can see that you've got a 45 watt-hour battery, which gets you around about 2 to 3 hours of playing time, depending on the power you set for the CPU and how demanding the game is. And here is the loose thumbstick. You have one large fan, and you have a soldered Wi-Fi 6 AX200 card. You then remove the small circuit board that is above the speaker, lifting up the white connector to release the ribbon cable. You then remove 2 screws to take out the speaker and place that on top of the battery to keep it out of the way. I would also unscrew the trigger button to give you more room and remove the broken thumbstick. You can see that it is merely held in by a very thin piece of plastic, so no wonder it breaks so easily. You screw in the new one and reverse the previous steps, so you should be good to go. I then decided to load up Doom Eternal, playing at 720p using high settings, and was generally getting over 70 FPS, which I thought was quite decent. The CPU was running cool in the low 60s, which was quite impressive, especially for such a small device. Now next up is The Witcher 2, and I have this set at 720p using low settings. Initially I kept the CPU at the 20 watts and was getting around about 70 FPS. Then I reduced the CPU power to 15 watts using throttle stop, and this reduced the CPU temperature by 10 degrees, and frame rates were still great. I would probably use this setting when playing on battery, as will also increase your playing time as it uses less power. So that's it. The GPD Win 3 does play older games pretty well, and the speakers were great. Now it did take me a little while to get used to the controlling the games, and there is a button here at the side that does switch between mouse mode and Xbox controller mode. And there are also 2 buttons at the back to activate Alt, Control, Delete and the escape key. But the kicker is the very poor design, for these thumbsticks. And that may explain why there are so many second-hand units on eBay. It's not easy to buy spare ones should it fail, and without it, you have a very expensive, low-powered computer. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.